going on, Jerome? It's beautiful Wednesday. Birds are chirping and stuff, and it's time for another Vikings news dump. Happy hump day out there to those who celebrate, and I would certainly celebrate getting back to where we once belong. You know what I mean? And I love the outside zone, especially Dalvin put his foot in the ground, find the cutback lane, hit it and quit it, going 80 yards, all that stuff. But for the outside zone, you need the smaller, athletic offensive lineman. I'm over it. I'm absolutely. We need to get back to averaging 320 across the board, right? Tackles, guard, center, 320 minimum. Build an FU offensive line in front of J.J. McCarthy. Let's go from there. But I would just think back in the day. Randall McDaniel, Matt Burke, just Corey Stringer, rest in power. Even Todd Stussy and his 75,000 holding penalties. And also, just think about the 09 offensive line. And this is a piece of art, right? So you got Hutchinson, you got Sullivan leading the way for Adrian Peterson in the Edward Jones Dome. The Rams were in the throwbacks. So we actually found this box score from 2009. Pretty good year for the Vikings. They notched their fifth or sixth straight win, something like that. It was October 11th, Edward Jones Dome, like we said, in St. Louis. Home of the Battlehawks now. But the Vikings beat down the Rams, coached by Steve Spagnuolo, by the way, 38-10. And just this starting lineup for the Vikings, right? We'll get to the O-line, but Bert Favre, Adrian, Bernie, Percy. Percy's awesome, man. Percy. Sidney Rice having a career year. Visante Shenko having a career year as well. But defensively, speaking getting back to where we once belong, that D line, like we talked about before, the Williams wall, Kevin and Pat, Ray Edwards was a solid edge rusher. He was a very piss poor boxer. And they got Jared Allen too, and then. They also had, Brian Robinson was a reserve. And eventually, in 2010, they drafted Everson in the fourth round out of USC. We were golden. Honestly, it doesn't even matter what you put behind them. I mean, if you have the front four, you got it, right? And the Vikings linebacker core was solid. Lieber from back in the day. E.J. Henderson was a monster. The pride of Maryland. He a Terp. Greenway. Perhaps you heard of him. He's a vodka peddler now. Then you got Benny Sapp, Cedric Griffin. Twan must have been hurt this game. Tyrell Johnson, Medea Williams, and whatnot. It's good to go. But offensive line-wise, Bryant, Big Mac McKinney, the pride of Miami. That's just the U being the U. And all the physical tools in the world, he just didn't want to at times. But, 6'8", 350, feet like a ballerina, rare, man. Hutchinson at left guard, the pride of Michigan. I remember Hutchinson's draft profile during the NFL draft when he was coming out of Michigan, first round pick by the Seahawks. And it was like, so what's your favorite meal? He said steak. What's your favorite dessert? He said steak. It's really awesome, man. John Sullivan, sixth round pick out of fifth or sixth round, late day 3 pick. What is day 3 now? Out of Notre Dame. Anthony Herrera whooped somebody's ass. Like there's so many fun guards like Anthony Herrera, Hicks, that would just are they most talented dudes in the world? No, but they would whoop somebody's ass. And then Phil Lodeholt, the pride of Oklahoma, just moving people at that right tackle spot. This was a freaking offensive line, man. Got to get back to that. Got to get back to having the meets as well on the defensive side of the ball. Daniel Jeremiah, NFL Network. Last year, this time, I had potential starter grades on 12 defensive tackles. This year, I have 24 of them. Ridiculous amount of depth at the position in the draft class. The Vikings need to partake at defensive tackle this year in the draft. Maybe 2 scoops. Lots of things. They can get that prodigious pass rusher. 3 tech, you get that 5 tech who holds the edge as well as presses the pocket, as well as that nose tackle that can combine and get multiple gaps. Lots of ways to go. It's going to be good. And also having the meets, Trey Smith. So, people poo-poo Trey Smith because the Chiefs had a absolutely horrific day against a prodigious Eagles pass rush, but I still want him, right? So we put this PFF ding Trey Smith for giving up 1 sack in the Super Bowl. It was the only sack he allowed all year. The Vikings still should be all in on Trey Smith. And he only allowed 3 pressures. Joe Thuney allowed 7 pressures and a sack. And I understand people would be like, well, you don't want Darnold because he crapped the bed in the biggest spots. Trey Smith allowed 1 sack all year. Like we said, he's consistently been top 10, top 8, top 10 in overall PFF grade, as well as pressures allowed, as well as PFF run blocking grade. Plus, I mean, it's not like Darnold won 2 straight Super Bowls before crapping the bed against the Lions and the Rams. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, it's not apples to apples at all. Just ridiculous. Like, to have it be comparable to Darnold, Trey Smith would have to be ass thank you throughout all of his career until this year, have a very good season, and then in the Super Bowl, give up 7 sacks, 18 pressures, and then stab Patrick Mahomes in the hat with like an ice pick. Then that would be analogous to Sam Darnold. Other than that, nah. Also, Vikes fan page put this together. Via Alex Day Sports, a Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson on the teammate who has helped him the most in his career. Quote, Adam Thielen, for sure, the pride of Detroit Lakes, Mankato State University Community College. He pretty much took me under his wing and was my older brother. I'm always grateful to have him. And depending on what the Patriots want to do, I mean, or the Panthers want to do, also what the Patriots do. Although with Belichick gone, their market on white wide receivers, it's gone. But if the Panthers do cut bait with Thielen, like I wonder if the Vikings bring him back on like a cheap veteran minimum deal. I don't think there will be a huge market for his services. And I think at this point, like maybe he's accepted his role as a wide receiver 3-4. That wouldn't be bad, especially given the fact that Addison probably going to be facing a suspension during the season. Yeah, but Thielen and Jets, those good times, man. Yeah. Speaking of Addison, Kevin Seifert, ESPN, who's not going to go a pretrial hearing for wide receiver Jordan Addison connected to his misdemeanor DUI citation last summer was continued from today to March 12th per Los Angeles County Superior Court records. Addison has pled not guilty. Now, Addison is going to get a 3-game suspension, absent like charges being thrown out or being acquitted, because even if he's found guilty, or even if there's a plea deal or a pretrial diversionary program in there, the NFL is still going to suspend him. Like that's written in the CBA. So he's going to get 3 games likely this year because this thing will probably get adjudicated during the offseason, which, hopefully Addison gets his stuff together this offseason and, stays out of the headlines and works. That's the thing too. He was putting in the work. Both off seasons here with the Vikings, and last 2 years he's been fantastic, and he's for a smallish receiver, he's very good at contested catches deep down the field. We saw that this year, right? He has great timing, great sense of where the ball is. He's willing to fight despite his size. Like it's a little bit Stephon Diggs-ish, when he was coming out of Maryland, where a smaller, slighter frame receiver, but still has a very high contested catch rate. I think Diggs led the league in contested catch rate one of the years he was here with the Vikings, which you would not expect, from a 6-foot, 180-pound receiver. But Addison cut from a similar mold, but gotta stay right off the field, man. And hopefully, whatever happens here, take the suspension and we'll get going. Yeah, a little bit late on this, but first off, no. Schefter, the 49ers have granted Debo and his agent Tony Dandy permission to find a trade partner for the wide receiver, except he's not really a wide receiver. Samuel told ESPN, this comes after Samuel asked San Francisco to trade him during the players' exit meetings after the season. Blah, 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 blah. Even though, yes, Addison's going to be facing suspension, no. We do not want Debo as a Viking. I think that there are major concerns about his long-term health as well as his conditioning. I think that Shanahan used him properly. That year he stole first-team All-Pro away from Jefferson, where he is a hybrid running back receiver. I don't think he'll ever be consistently a 1,000-yard receiver. I think he only has 1 1,000-yard season in his career. And I think outside of like the creative gadgety uses, like he's not all that. So I think that, you're not giving up draft capital for sure. You don't want to pay his contract for sure. And no, like there's absolutely no way, shape, or form the Vikings should bring aboard Debo Samuel. No. Something that the Vikings should bring aboard, though, is Georgia offensive linemen, badasses across the board. Matt Miller. The Georgia interior offensive line was definitely banged up this year, but all three, Dylan Fairchild, Jared Wilson, and Tate Ratledge, look like plug-and-play NFL stars to me. They're being oddly slept on. Yes, they've been very good. And we said all college football season, I mean, that Georgia interior offensive line, that Texas interior offensive line, damn good. Really, really damn good. Alabama, too, with Booker, but my crush right now, of the three, I mean, Ratledge and Fairchild are going to be legit, but Jared Wilson's the guy. I know that there's concerns that he was a one-year wonder, but given his size, given his anchor, given his leadership ability, I think that he will certainly be in range for the Vikings in the mid-rounds, and I think that he will be a one-for-one great get. I think that if the Vikings drafted him, somehow they kept Bradbury, Wilson could push for one of the guard spots, pending on what happens in free agency and the rest of the draft. And also, I do think that he would eventually supplant Garrett Bradbury at center. And I think that he would be the long-term protector at the pivot for J.J. McCarthy. I think that run game would definitely get souped up. So I love me some Jared Wilson. And also, it's good to see Matt Miller, recognizing that then here interior Georgia offensive line, it's going to be solid, man. Rock solid in the draft. Like, maybe not high end, like maybe Wilson sneaks in to the second round, but Ratledge and Fairchild, they'll be mid-round picks, and they're going to be value wherever they go. Speaking of value, this is great. So Bleacher Report decided to message 100 players, and they asked, what's your go-to offseason cheat meal? And A-Aron Jones responded, that's a great question, LMAO. Ha-ha. I know. Aaron, men our age shouldn't be saying LMAO. Even though I'm pretty sure I said that to my kid today. I would say pina colada cinnamon rolls, which sound really fantastic, man. Not gonna lie. Like the thing about pina coladas is, so like on a hot day, if you're at the beach, if you're at a pool that has a bar, if you're out on a boat, I just like the taste of pina coladas. Yeah. And especially if you're at a pool with a bar and a professional bartender, not just like the whole swirly blah 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 thing, but making them from scratch, they're really good. And also, sometimes I will ask for half alcohol in the pina colada, or even just a virgin pina colada. So just take away the buzz, just give me the calories and the sugar. Why not? But I don't know, like a properly made one is so damn refreshing, and I can only imagine it being applied to cinnamon rolls, which are amazing, by the way. Although, so apparently it's like a stereotype that Midwesterners eat chili with cinnamon rolls. I was unaware of this, but like I never tried it as a kid. But then I thought about it. What my parents would always do is they would make chili with beans and no spices, of course, because we're frickin' from Minnesota, and they would do like the box of muffins, like those is it Jiffy? It's like a white and blue box. Yeah, I think they're Jiffy. Like the blueberry muffins and then corn muffins. Those are really good. And it's the same concept, the whole sweet and savory thing. I don't know. But Aaron Jones said, pina colada, cinnamon rolls, and boba, which is fantastic. So I love that A-Aron is on the boba train. Now, so my daughter, she's 9, and she's afraid to try new things, but she's definitely given things a college try, and she's discovered a whole new world of things that she likes. Like she found out that she really loves calamari, she loves fish cake, she loves fish tofu. In terms of like Asian-y foods, she loves edamame too, and she was so afraid to try boba, right? Because boba's basically taken over any ramen shop, a lot of pho shops as well. They sell boba, right? And Margaret just looking at it is like, it looks so weird. It looks like it's a milkshake with rabbit poop, which is kind of fair. And to be honest, it is an odd texture to start, but it is extremely satisfying, and you understand why it's so popular around the globe, and you understand why it's taken over here in the United States as well. But basically what it is, like little tapioca pearls, and you have an extra wide straw, and you're just like two. Plus, this is really neat. A lot of places will have the straw that has the 45-degree angle on it, as opposed to just being flat, because when you're sucking up the boba, you need space, and if you're sucking up flat against the cup, that doesn't work. like dynamics wise. But she was so scared. She was so scared when she tried it first. She got strawberry, mango, like her favorite flavor combination. And then they heat seal the top, so it's just like, nah. Then you stab it with a straw, and it's just like, I understand it. It's like you're playing dodgeball, and you're just about to get smacked in the face with some tapioca balls. But, of course, she got over it, and she enjoyed it. So that's exactly what happened. I love when she tries new things, because she's so brave. That's what it is. And Boba, I love the Aaron Jones into the Boba. It's probably his kids probably got him into that, right? Because I feel like it's such a fun kid thing. Because I don't know, like you're playing with your food, it's unique, it's kind of different. It kind of reminds. Do you guys remember? What was it? It was like Squeeze-Its. Was that just it? Like Squeeze It, like the Kool-Aid things, except Squeeze-Its. They would have like chunks in it. Like they had a version that had chunks, and it's kind of like that. Guess we're just reliving childhood. Anyways, lastly, the Jets officially announced that they hired Ricky Spielman as well as Robbie Payton to their football department. Spielman basically is going to be senior advisor. Payton is some jabroni job. But if the name sounds familiar, yes, that is Jumpin' George Payton's nephew. All right, so George Payton, a longtime assistant GM here with the Vikings, Spielman. Also, I'm pretty sure they were together with the Bears, maybe even the Dolphins as well. So a longtime connection there. So Spielman. So this is indirect nepotism, where Spielman brought aboard Jumpin' George Payton's nephew to the Jets. It's kind of fun, man. But I want this to happen so bad. Like I want the Jets GM to fail, and then I want Spielman just to be like, I'm taking over. And then they get to the Super Bowl against the Vikings, another chapter in the dumbest rivalry in sports history, and then the Jets get whipped by 50. That's it. Anyways, I don't know what we accomplished. Vikings news dump on this beautiful, wonderful Wednesday. Put something in the Venmo. Support the work you guys are the best you know to do. Skull production value.